There are many Nigerians right now, despite a declaration of a winner, there are many who are not happy.
I mean, Marie, when you look at some of these things, does the will of the people really replicated in the ballot? We, even in our own country, we keep saying, exercise your right as a voter. Go out there and vote, so that then you don't come and say, the government that is seated is not serving my needs. But then the question is, if that is the case, that we're being urged to go out there and vote, and sometimes is that feeling that this will is not replicated in the ballot, is there even a need to go out there and exercise? From where you sit, I don't know what you think, Marie.
I think voting is really important.
Okay.
Just like you said, by young people especially, you know, first-time voters. I think I got a chance to talk to a few of them, my colleagues and even out there, and there was a feeling of why should we vote, you know, for what reason? You've been voting all these years, nothing has changed.
This was from the previous election?
You know, yeah.
Okay.
So there is that feeling of really my voting or my ballot doesn't really count. After all, whoever has to be there will be there. By whatever means, you know, there is that belief in the young people especially. And the other thing is, you know, there's divided opinion when elections are done. There are those who feel like, yeah, it was a fair election and we've won, especially those who have won. And then those who have lost also feel like they've been, you know, disenfranchised in one way or another. But I think voting is really, really important. We still have to do that. But I also feel like there is need for Kenyans, you know, as a whole, to really come to that level where we hold our leaders accountable. You know, just like when you have somebody working for you, whether it's at home or in your shop, you hold them accountable. At the end of the day, you're paying them a salary. But do we really do a good job at that as Kenyans? You know, that's for me is where the gap is. Because if Kenyans actually can come up and say, you know what, we elected you, you promised this within this number of days or this number of months, we've not seen anything happening. So I tend to think that probably will encourage people to vote, because what people want to see is development and change, really. Yeah. Yeah, and so even as you talk about voting, Doreen, we are yet to see the worst of the economy as more tax paying, as good prices shoot up again. That is according to the Standard newspaper. Already reeling under effects of high cost of living, Kenyans will have to dig deeper into their pockets. That is the Standard newspaper saying there. And you know, prices of drinks such as beer and mixture of fermented and non-alcoholic beverages up by 3 shillings per stamp. On bottled water is 0.5 per stamp. Talking about cosmetic products, there will be going up, but that is probably not a basic need for Kenyans. When you look at on page 4 of the Standard newspaper, it's talking about inflation figures show cost of food items, housing, and electricity are actually going to go up. Sukuma wiki's price, the price of sukuma wiki, tomatoes jumped by 11%, 7.8% respectively. At the same time, cooking gas prices jumped by 47% in the same period. Kenyans are bracing for further pain after High Court this week dismissed an application filed by the Law Society of Kenya that sought to block the increase of excise duty stamp costs. And so the LSK said, according to the LSK, there was really no need to increase the stamp duty. And they say that it's just because they wanted to weed out counterfeits. So the LSK was in court actually trying to can I say speak on behalf of Kenyans for the stamp duty not to go up and in effect increasing the taxes. So, yeah, Doreen.
You know, when you talk about the issue of taxes, cost of living, excise duty, I'm just seeing again quite an should I say an interesting story also the Star has covered for you there. That is new NSSF rates effected on employees on the February pay. Just going by what the Star has covered for you is that employers have 6 working days to submit the new National Social Security Fund statutory declarations or face penalties. This is under the contested NSSF Act of number 45 of 2013, which was signed into law in December 2013. Of course, I'm talking about the NSSF Act of 2013, which obviously you know, the Court of Appeal did avert that decision from the High Court that had sought to sort of bar employers from deducting this amount. But now we're talking about them being deducted. And this is 6% of your salaries was supposed to be going to the NSSF, just that amount moving from 200 bob, which is what has been there since 2001. Before then, it was 164 actually, if my memory serves me correct. That was effected in 201 to 200 bob. That is what Kenyans have been paying up until this year, when that is supposed to be increasing to about 1,080 to above 2,160 there, depending on how much you earn. So quite the mixed reaction as far as these contributions is concerned. And the biggest questions that most Kenyans have is not even about the contribution, it's just how can we seal some of these loopholes that are presented in these institutions. You realize also, as media, there's a number of stories that we have covered as far as this institution is concerned, matters of corruption sometimes coming to the fore, and so that is the biggest questions that Kenyans have. So then how do we seal these loopholes even before we talk about increment? But as it stands, it is all systems go as far as this increment is concerned.